let's get an update on the Epstein files.
It is a big U-turn for President Trump. He is now encouraging House Republicans to vote this upcoming bill in the House.
So everybody's on the same page now. All the Democrats want it released. The Republicans want it released. Trump wants it released. Okay, so why are we not going to get it?
Which would basically compel the Department
He's being negative, but I'm not surprised.
of Justice to release its files on the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who died in prison back in 2019. Let me show you the post on Truth Social overnight. The president saying House Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on.
Why didn't you do that at the beginning?
Because he still has a lot of bad advisors, deep state advisors, and also I don't fully trust what's inside the Epstein files, but we'll see.
So unnecessary.
Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party.
Right, sure.
Trump added, let's start talking about the party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein.
You see, the fact he calls it a Democratic hoax is because someone's told him that he's inside the Epstein files, and that's made him think it's now, oh, it's a Democratic hoax. That's what I suspect. And I think someone told him he's inside because the Epstein files have been tampered with. If they could get to Epstein, they could get to the Epstein files.
Trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Now,
Sure.
the president has repeatedly called this Epstein probe, which has gained steam on Capitol Hill.
So I think his first reaction, thinking the Epstein files were compromised, were just downplay it and just to ignore it because he felt it was dangerous. But he's realized there's no choice, I think, and he's releasing it, even though it's probably been tampered with, and there's probably going to be stuff that he's going to have to debunk in it.
Even in just recent days, a hoax. We heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson over the weekend, who says this is all about politics, not transparency.
I think he's right that a lot of the politicians are using this as leverage. These are people that were in office for 4 years while Biden was the president, and they weren't pushing to release the Epstein files. I think that it's true that they're doing it circumstantially because it's politically advantageous. I think absolutely that's true, but it's such a big issue that I literally do not care about what their motives are. I don't care about what their goals are. My only goal is getting the files out. So whatever leads to the conclusion of the files being released is something that I will agree with and something I will support. So even if I know this is opportunism, I know that it's not genuine, but I don't care because it's for a greater good. That's what I think.
I wonder why he doesn't have any suspicions about the Epstein files. I mean, he obviously thinks there's a chance that Epstein didn't kill himself. So why does he have such trust that the Epstein files are pure and untampered with and are actually going to be useful?
Remember, the Biden DOJ had every one of these files in their possession.
These files have been in the possession of the corrupt deep state for over 4 years. I just cannot believe that the deep state would have kept this time bomb that could hurt them under their control. I mean, they would have defused the time bomb, and they would have maybe weaponized it against Trump during that time. I just refuse that, with all the power that the establishment has, that they didn't find ways to protect the guilty. And it's going to be interesting if the Epstein files are going to be released, because I predict A, they won't have anything interesting in them because everything damning has been scrubbed, or B, that plus things implicating innocent parties like Trump, and they might even throw in Elon Musk and stuff like that. Obviously bullshit.
For 4 years. And
that'd be hilarious if they planted evidence implicating Elon Musk after Elon Musk tweeted Trump's in the Epstein files, and then he finds out that both he and Trump are in the Epstein files. I wonder how he would react to that.
Hakeem Jeffries or Ro Khanna or Thomas Massie or any of them ever said a word about it. President Trump.
No, and he's right. He's right.
Has clean hands. He's not worried about it. I talk to him all the time. He has nothing to do with this. He's frustrated that they're turning it into a political issue, and it's not surprising.
He turned it into a political issue. He made it, like, the thing is, I know you have to, everybody has to be on the same page, and you guys have to defend bullshit. But, like, you know it's bullshit, man. You know it's bullshit.
Because the Democrats have nothing else to talk
It's
about.
bullshit.
Perhaps one of the most dramatic moments we've seen in the past 48 hours or so is Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, who is a staunch supporter of the president, who has been out there publicly saying she wants to see these documents released and she's going to vote in favor of it. She and Trump are now in a war of words with each other, and he is being very critical of her, saying basically he doesn't want to see her in Congress anymore. He's not going to endorse her. He also said that the threats that she's getting, that he does not believe public safety is a risk for her. She says she's gotten a lot of threats from coming out in support of this. But Sandra, Brian, and Lawrence, there I think is another
you're going to have threats no matter what.
X factor.
Exactly. If you're a politician, a senator, you're going to have threats. Period.
All of this is going to happen. So the House will vote on whether or not to release
the
the
MSN
files.
said nothing about the files while Biden was in office. Fact. I agree with you. I think that's true. But at the same time, you also have to leverage in the fact that Biden did not run on releasing the Epstein files. Trump ran partially on releasing the Epstein files. He brought it up multiple times. He brought up Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew multiple times. He brought and he also put people in his cabinet that had brought it up and said,
yes, Esmond Gold, he did all that, which is why that about face. How did he react? He called it a Democratic hoax. Trump just doesn't do things for no reason. The reason he called that is because some information reached his ears that made him think, oh, this is a Democratic hoax. Think of that Wall Street Journal article where there was supposedly this handwritten letter either from Trump to Epstein saying what he's a great guy. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a letter that is purportedly from Trump to Epstein in the Epstein files. I think they've been tampered with, and I think there's going to be everything to anyone that the deep state doesn't like is going to be in the Epstein files, is my fear. That is my fear. And that all the truly guilty parties, the ones who deserve to go to jail, they've been scrubbed already. That's my feeling. If they got to Epstein, they got to the Epstein files. Period.
definitively that they wanted to release it. So he said it twice. He did. He said it twice. Anybody, if you asked a voter in 2024, did Trump say he's going to release the Epstein files? Is this something you're voting on? I think the majority of them would say yes. Really? What are we doing?
Yeah, if it was 4 years ago, I would have been a lot more supportive of releasing the Epstein files. But this is 4 years after they managed to get into prison and reach Epstein. That they've had 4 years to deal with and defuse the Epstein files to prevent any people like Bill Clinton from being exposed. And I just cannot believe that the Epstein files will be released and there will be something damning about Bill Clinton. It cannot be allowed. Bill Clinton knows far too many secrets. If he goes to jail, he'll bring down the entire system with him. They have to protect him. And so the Epstein files have had to be tampered with. There wouldn't be no one on the Democratic side, which is more controlled by deep state, calling for the release of the Epstein files, if there was actually damning stuff in it about deep state individuals like Bill Clinton. They have to have been tampered with.
All indications are the votes will be there. It kicks it over to the Senate. We don't know what the Senate is going to do, whether or not it would actually get a vote there. And then there's always the possibility of a presidential veto, which would kick this issue back to Congress. And we'll see if the president has any more to say on the timeline of how that could happen.
The only hope is, if you remember when Trump took over, there was one employee at the FBI who, instead of shredding documents, put them all in a closet. And they were able to then find all these records that the deep state actually wanted to have deleted. If there's something like that in the, I think there'll be a tampered with Epstein files, but it might be someone who saved the real damning stuff somewhere hidden. That is the one hope I have. But anyone who believes that there's just a pile of incriminating evidence that can bring down Bill Clinton easily, that's what's going to be released, is smoking some really fine shit.
When he speaks a little bit later on today. Lawrence, Brian, that's it.
Thanks so much. Mark. And the key is, just so you know, part of the reason why they didn't want to throw this out is because he was hanging out with the rich, the famous for 10, 15, 20
Good, get rid of them.
years, other country leaders. And if their name pops up in this, even if
Too bad.
he's making the point that not everyone who was in the room with Epstein is a pedophile, and that is true. The group who went to the island is more important than who was in the same picture as him.
Too bad.
Who went on the Lolita Express is what's important, not who went to a several hundred people party in New York.
Shouldn't have been there. That's what happens.
Totally innocent. They're going to say, well, you're part of the Epstein files. So
Yep, that's right. Shouldn't have done it.
was part of
it's
it.
out. It's going to be out. And then it's just.
Do you think it will be, though? I mean, the sense.
No, I think it's gonna have so many people that like if you get named in the Epstein files.
Where's this faith, Esmond, that there's just no way that it's going to come out and there's going to be damning evidence like what people calling for the Epstein files are hoping for is not going to be in it. The possibility is they come out, there's nothing, and you keep pushing, and somewhere there's someone who put stuff in a closet, and you get that, and then you get people. That is the most optimistic solution. Or you investigate and you interview old witnesses, and you do it that way. But in terms of files, if there were any interviews with witnesses that named people, those are gone. Those are destroyed. If you had any videos showing Bill Clinton doing horrible things to little girls, those are burned. I guarantee you that you will not have anything truly damning coming out in this initial release of the Epstein files.
It doesn't mean you're a pedophile. It doesn't. Because there's probably going to be plenty of people in there that were just friends of his and associates that he was just doing business with, or, like associates or, like acquaintances with. Sure.
Yeah, it takes time. You can't, you didn't have enough girls to give it to thousands of people. So he had to make connections with other people to get to the people he really wanted to get blackmail material on. So it's going to be a much smaller group. And it's costly to set up underage girls, private islands and stuff like that. You can't just hand that out to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's sus. But I would rather cast a wider net than a smaller net. I would rather have, this sounds terrible, right? But again, I don't care. I would rather have people have to prove their innocence than some people go free that are guilty.
Okay, this is right now the problem. This is what I think the establishment wants, this type of person. Because I think they've put in a lot of people, everyone the establishment hates or wants to. This could be a huge distraction. You're a successful, honest CEO. And if you're honest, you're not part of the system, you're not propping up DEI and woke stuff, you're not overlooking, you're a problem. If you're just an honest CEO in America, you're a problem. So they put you on the Epstein list. They put you, you've taken pictures with Epstein because you went to the same parties, and then they just make up some stuff on the side. Now you're implicated. Now you have to waste hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers to defend yourself, and it completely sidetracks you. And the people that really actually did stuff to children, they're been scrubbed away completely, and they don't have to deal with anything. It's how the deep state operates, is it bogs down the opposition in every way it can. And if you're with the deep state, you don't have to deal with all these problems, and so it's a force multiplier between people that work for the deep states and those that don't. The only reason the deep state is struggling and losing narrative is that people that are against deep state are very numerous now.
And I don't care if there's collateral damage. Too bad. That's life. You'll survive.
Yeah, the Senate, if the president tells the Senate to.
Yeah, so the Epstein files come out, they've been tampered with, and Epstein said, Esmond's goal says, okay, they go after all of them. And every one of them is innocent because the bad ones have already been scrubbed, and you've had anyone the deep state doesn't like added, and he just becomes a complete pawn of deep state like that.
Do it.
That's the problem.
We'll do it. I guess.
One even more.
Yeah, there it is. And I agree, man. I do. Thomas Massey just grilled Kash Patel, FBI, on attempted cover-up. Here we go.
Hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, Director Patel, I watched some of your Senate hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, you've seen most of the files, who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these women to besides himself? You replied, according to the transcript. There is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. You also said somewhere in
Because that evidence has been destroyed.
the hearing and here today that the problem is that the case files are constrained by limited search warrants from 2006 to 2007, and that the non-prosecution agreement hamstrung future investigations. Those constraints only...
All these constraints on the files, it's Epstein was in the maximum secure prison, all these security things, and all the security protocols were fell apart, and you had gaps in security camera footages, and he ends up dead. The same thing, whatever security protocols or stuff, however these files were sealed, they were unsealed, tampered with, and resealed again.
apply to Southern District of Florida. They do not apply to Southern
I mean, this information has been in the hands of the FBI, the deep state, the establishment. There's no way they would. It actually has something damaging against them.
District of New York.
If you want to take down people, get your evidence from sources outside the deep state, outside the government.
Location of the 2019 sex trafficking indictment, which produced many things, including a series of FD 302 documents. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation,
why they only have water? I never see somebody in Congress with a soda.
Because Congress is televised, and these people are trying to appeal to people that watch Congress. Congressional hearings in general are people that value drinking water. People who drink soda rarely watch congressional hearings. Sorry, you know that. Even for you rarely watch them. So there's no reason to cater to you.
documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley,
That's a lot.
CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to.
What?
Victims including minors, such as Virginia Roberts. You free?
I remember
May
that.
she rest in peace. That
She killed
list
herself.
also includes
Allegedly.
at least 19 other individuals.
Oh, the big witness against Epstein. I think a truck or a car just rammed into her and nearly killed her, and she just basically survived long enough to say goodbye to her family and then died. It was a complete killing of a witness in this case. I mean, she could have implicated people like she had to die.
One Hollywood producer,
Just like Epstein.
worth a few $100 million. One royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music
Who could that
industry,
be?
one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. We know these people exist in the FBI files, the files that you control. I don't know exactly who they are.
They can't delete what has already been released. But any footage of any of these people he listed doing anything to girls, that's gone.
FBI does. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people, and have you seen these 302 documents?
Have you done an
Sir, I
investigation?
have asked my FBI agents to review the entirety of the Epstein files and bring forth any credible information, and we're
What's left of the Epstein files
working with Congress not only to divulge that information,
after 4 years they had 4 years to sanitize it. Then you have a look at it. Then you find nothing.
and produce it to you, but any investigations that arise from any credible investigation will be brought. There have been no new materials brought to me launching a new indictment.
So is the loophole here, or is it your assertion that these victims aren't credible, that the 302s maybe didn't produce credible statements? That
Yeah, you maybe interviewed witnesses, but the transcripts of those interviews might have been edited and modified. How would you know?
rise to a probable cause?
It's not my assertion, sir. It's the assertion of at 2 different United States attorneys' offices from 3 separate administrations who investigated those same materials in lifetime.
Are the 302 documents in the FBI's possession?
They reviewed all that. Yes, sir.
And so have you reviewed those?
And not only their careers, but their lives probably depended on coming to a certain outcome. Even if they did find something, probably compromised files.
302 documents that where the victims name the people who victimized them?
If I personally know, but the FBI has.
You gotta get your shit together, man.
He's the thing is, there's so many different cases. I don't know how to remember. This is something worth killing over. People have died over this already. Epstein and that witness, get her name. So I don't know. It could be that that is the pressure, or it's that the files have been sanitized and he hasn't found anything, and he's in the awkward position of. But if that was the case, if he wasn't, no one yet has suggested that the files might have been tampered with, and that's making me. And I wonder why. We'll see. Maybe I could be. I would be thrilled if it came out and all these people, that list he made of that famous banker and that the magician and all that. If there were evidence that came out implicating all that list, then I'd say, okay, maybe I was all wrong. But I just cannot believe a world where that happens. There'd be panic. There'd be signs. Those people would be fleeing the country.
You gotta get your shit together. This is you gotta figure out who it is. Like this guy, and here's what's sad. Am I the only person that had like very, very high expectations for this guy? Like I was very, very positive about him. I was really hoping that he would do some work.
Yeah, what's happened during the Trump term is we had all this positive expectation, and a lot of people buttered up to Trump in order to then be able to undermine him for 4 years. The more sensitive the position, the more they likely tried to do that. I think he was a lot more selective this time around, Trump. But again, I think the files are compromised, so I don't think Patel even could come forward and provide the evidence that Asmingal and everything want. But he's not suggesting that the files, he was surprised that the files didn't contain anything. The fact he doesn't express anything like that makes me doubt him.
Only you? No, it wasn't me. Go back, watch the videos at the beginning of the year. People were very positive about him.
So how can you sit here and in front of the Senate and say there are no names?
I said
I named one today.
I said we are not in the practice at the Department of Justice FBI of releasing victims' names.
Okay. Yeah, he's compromised. I mean, again, I'm sure the deep state, they went great lengths to install, especially Secretary of Treasury. That's one they got for sure. Deep state operative, a former J.P. Morgan CEO. Yeah, that's 100% deep state guy. But the others, I haven't been researching full time. Been writing a fantasy novel, so I haven't looked into Patel that deeply. But by his reaction here, yes, this right here, this reaction, this calling that magician, for example, a victim. No, he was the one victimizing younger girls.
Bro.
And the fact he even said it this way, there's nothing forcing him to. That is a sign that he has been either co-opted or he was co-opted from the start.
Bro. What are we doing here? What?
And you think an FBI managed by this guy is going to release anything that's problematic, like against Bill Clinton? Because I'm just saying Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton, he will sing if they try to put him in jail, and it will bring down the entire system, the entire deep state. So they'll have to kill him. If there's actually prosecution against him, they'll have to do an Epstein on him, because he will sing. And so, but easier than that, better than that for the deep state, because killing off someone like Clinton would be problematic in its own way. It's just better for all the evidence of Clinton's crimes to have already been erased like 4 years ago. That's what I think happened. I think videos of Clinton doing anything gone when early in the Biden term.
Like this is it's so embarrassing. Like honestly, this is pathetic. This really is fucking pathetic. Wow. We got to do something about this. He got to go. Something got to have it. Like it's not the same cash. Like really, it's not. Like this is crazy. What was the question? It wasn't that answer. I'll tell you that. Certainly wasn't that. This is weird, bro. This is really weird. Does he see the pedos as victims? I don't know. Like listen to this again.
Who would victimize them?
If I personally know, but the FBI.
Listen to this again.
So how can you sit here and in front of the Senate and say there are no names?
There are no names. And he's talking specifically about the names of the people that were listed in the different testimonies.
Said,
I named one today.
So let me get this straight.
Oh, because they were being blackmailed by Epstein, their victims. I get it. No.
So the banking executive that was having women trafficked to him by Jeffrey Epstein was one of
Well,
the
he was being blackmailed, Asmongold. If he's being blackmailed, he's a victim of blackmail.
victims.
They can't release his name. He's
correct?
a victim.
Cash, is this accurate?
we are not in the practice at the Department of Justice FBI of releasing victims' names.
That's not what you asked.
What we do. We are
See, it's crazy, bro. Like,
on the
No. He heard the question. He just considers that banker to be a victim.
habit of releasing incredible information. That's not what we do.
And yeah, my faith in Patel is gone.
But
Not that I had much to begin with.
multiple authorities have looked at the entirety of what we have.
Okay, I got to move on here.
here's how I know that they're full of shit.
Part of me was a little bit worried when Trump got so many of his nominees approved so fast. If there was nominees that were truly troublesome for the FBI and other agencies, like John F. Kennedy, that was the one that I knew he is completely anti-deep state. And yes, that was the appointment that got the most blowback, wasn't it? So it means all the others were less problematic than him and were partly co-opted, I think.
They can't
To different degrees.
figure out how to deal with Reddit. You can't even micromanage the websites where people are making death threats to politicians. You can't even stop that. And you want me to think
It's not that they can't stop it. It depends which politicians they're threatening.
that you are actually managing the Epstein case in a way that's legitimate?
Of course they're not. But if you believe that has been gold, why do you believe there's actual incriminating evidence that can be released? I think that's long gone.
The fuck out of here. You can't even handle social media. What's going on here? Sorry, guys, we can't release anything because there's victim names. Sure, we could redact those particular names and release everything, but nah, we're good. Yeah, I guess what a bunch of bullshit, man. What a bunch of fucking... I think he's getting blackmailed, probably. Unfortunately, he got captured. I think so, too, but...
Yeah, it's true. That might be an explanation. He might have actually been what he seemed like, intending to go release the Epstein files, whatever. But Deep State knew they had a way to control him after he was in place. And now he's been controlled. That's not... Or he was Deep State, establishment all along and was buttering up to Trump and conservatives to be nominated to head of the FBI. It could be either one, but he would be saying different things if he was one of the good guys.
I don't care. If you get blackmailed, then we need to have the government remove you from your position and then replace.
Another reason I know that the Trump's cabinet is compromised is how he's been handling a lot of things like Venezuela. His big thing, signature thing, is that he never started any war since first term. The fact that he's nearly starting this war in Venezuela, that is his advisors around him. And it has to be some of the people in his cabinet that he trusts that are pushing him to do this. So the Deep State does still have a lot of influence over Trump. And also the way he was handling Russia, how he nearly sent Patriot missiles. That's another thing. And how there's a lot of establishment voices whispering into his ears.
to you with somebody else that's not blackmailed. Like, something needs to happen. Like, I don't care whether he got blackmailed or not. I don't care what do you need to do? What is the option? I have no idea.
Another thing is about Venezuela is anyone who was a reader of Market Skeptic knows the ties between the deep state and drug trafficking. The dollarization of the world is what our financial system rests on, and the dollarization of the world depends on the continued flow of narcotics. In other words, there is links between CIA and any major narcotics gang. They basically run that. They are tied at the hip together. And if he's being pointed towards Venezuela for war, odds are most drugs are coming in some other way, is my opinion. He wouldn't, there's oil in Venezuela, like there's oil in Iraq. Venezuela is a target that the deep state would like to take down. Just like it's a resource-rich country that hasn't yet been exploited by the globalist world order, whatever. If they took down Venezuela, like in Iraq, there'll be major companies that come in and get extremely rich off that oil, and a lot of that revenue will go to deep state actors and prop up the whole system. Clearly, the gangs trafficking drugs are coming in through Mexico and other places. I never heard of Venezuela till suddenly now, and I doubt that.
Idea, but something needs to happen. I'll tell you that. And release the names of the which magician was it? Like, we can at least know that one, right?
Copperfield, I think.
What if it's the government doing the blackmail? What if they blackmail everybody? Well, I don't know. I mean, if you've got this many people doing the blackmail, right? I mean, it depends on who it is, but at a certain
to figure out which magician it is, just look at which magician has most been propped up by the media, the establishment, and is cozy with other players like Bill Clinton. And Copperfield fits that mold. So it's Copperfield.
Point. I mean, like, now what would I do? This is what I would do is that, like, as soon as this shit gets released and we find out what happened, we're going to go back and find all those people that did that blackmail, and we going to kill them. That's what I would do. Yeah, you asked me what my opinion is on it.
Yes. You think that the deep state has a nice little present of damning videos of underage girls with people that you can just see and figure out a list and then go after them? That's a pipe dream, Asmongold. All that evidence is gone.
Fucking kill them. And that's it. And it's not, duh.
Trying to rely on the government to get to the bottom of this. When the government was the problem to begin with, Asmongold is too naive on this front. He doesn't believe in conspiracies. He thinks it's just a bunch of billionaires and politicians that just got blackmailed. They're just completely separate from the government. Had nothing to do with a deep state that tries to control what's going on in the world in America. That doesn't exist, according to Asmongold.
Duh, 100%. Absolutely, that's what you do. Like, it's not even a question. How do you even thinking about this? How you even like, I don't know whether this is true or not. But it's pretty obvious what you need to do and how you need to handle it, right? But yeah, that's really the way I see it. That's where I'm at.
So this will be on YouTube. Don't get your hopes up. If people that went to Epstein's Island are ever held to justice, it'll come from a new investigation, new interviews with victims. Not anything that's there already. The Epstein files that currently exist, that's been sanitized. There's nothing damning in them. Potentially, there's a lot of fake stuff in it that's been added. From those years I was blog, a lot of times I look at the situation, what would I do if I was a corrupt monster? And that's what, then I look into it, and that's what happened. Nothing goes to waste. It's not just making sure there's nothing incriminating in the Epstein files. These might be released. How can you use them? Well, you can use them. Anyone you don't like, anyone you want to take down, you can add them to the Epstein files. And people like the Asmongold will just jump on it because they just trust the government and trust the SPI to an absurd degree. And so the Epstein files get released, and he wants a wide net, like he said. And yeah, people that have been upright citizens, get put on a list, and Asmongold would expect them to then prove their innocence, weighing down the honest. It's how you get rid of people you don't want. You trump up charges. Anyone who thinks that releasing the Epstein files will result in something good, I think is a little naive and hopeful. The best case scenario is it get released and we deal with the fallout of that. And further down the line, someone honest investigates, gets new testimonies, and maybe then somehow we go after the right people. But the initial release of the Epstein files is not going to bring what people hope in terms of taking down the monsters, pedophiles that abused little girls. Well, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.